King Kong. King Kong. King Kong. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 81 of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm the host with the most. My name is Michael Marcanio, and I'm here with my trusty sidekick. He could do his own show, but he sits here and does and talks fantasy with me. His name is Tyler Valdes, also known as your boy T. Today we're doing Waiver Wire. It's Week 15. What is it? Week
15 already?
Yeah, nuts.
It seems like it's flown by.
Nuts. The Steelers lost. The Dolphins lost. But it's okay. We're moving on. We're talking fantasy. If you're in the playoffs just like me and Daddy over here, you're probably feeling good. But doesn't mean you need to stop working on your fantasy football team. Even if you blocking people, pick up some of these guys we talk about. That way other teams won't have them. It's just, block them from being able to put up points against your team going into the fantasy playoffs week 2 semifinals, baby. But yeah, before we start, go ahead, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you haven't. And if you don't have time for the entire podcast, totally understandable. What we need you to do is go ahead and check the table of contents within the description. And I lay out all the players we talk about when we talk about them. It's all timestamped. So on YouTube, you can click it. On on any audio app, you're gonna have to scroll through. But all those timestamps are there for a reason, so you can just go through there. Maybe if you just need some running back help, you can skip through to that. But yeah, subscribe to us on the Apple Podcast app if you haven't already. Leave us a rating and review as well. If you are subscribed already, go ahead and unsubscribe, resubscribe. It helps us out big time. So real quick, before we start, a little message from our sponsor. Probably thinking to yourself, how did Michael teleport to a tropical beach setting? Well, I'm on vacation. You know why? Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a new DFS app for prop bets. They've streamlined the drafting process and eliminated the need to do unnecessary hours of research by using only top-tier athletes. Instead of this traditional salary cap format, you build your lineup around a list of prop bets. For each contest, you need to choose 10 of the 20 prop bets, plus 2 ice picks. Ice is in case of emergency picks that protect you from any late scratches or postponed games. Each unique prop has an over-under. So basically what it is, over-under, picking 10 players, whether or not they're going to go over under receiving yards, passing yards, things like that, rushing yards. So each time, if you do over, if it's high, more chance of going under, you'll get more points for the under. I've been making extra cash. That's why I'm on vacation in Hukalaka Chica. Thrive Fantasy is a pretty sweet app. They're sponsoring the podcast. So if you sign up for Thrive Fantasy, you use the promo code AVG. You have to deposit between $20 to $50. They will match up to $50. So say you put in $40, they'll match you. You have $80 in the app now of credits to use and try and win throughout the year. I'm in the tropics. I'm getting a nice tan. I know I'm white as shit. It's my first day here, but I'm going to be looking good soon enough. And I'm able to afford this vacation because I make sweet fucking moves with Thrive Fantasy. All you got to do is beat other people using the app. You don't have to, beat Vegas. You have to just beat other people. Go ahead and try and check out the Thrive Fantasy app. If you download it, use promo code AVG. You'll be able to get some free credit, free money. Helps us out on the podcast, supports us. So go ahead, check out Thrive Fantasy. We're super happy to be working with them. If you love football, they do all their bets too. They actually have cricket on there, which is pretty nuts. So check out the Thrive Fantasy app. Use promo code AVG. Get in there, make some money, make us proud. Do what you do best. Back to the regular scheduled program. See, go check it out. Links in the description down below. It helps us out big time if you want to go down.
That's how I'm buying all my Christmas presents.
Yeah,
this year,
come help support the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast.
2020's been throwing some curveballs, but I've just been crushing it on Thrive Fantasy, dude.
Thrive Fantasy. Listen, if it's in your home state, you have advantage. We have to drive across the state line. But it's available in California. Most states have it. But yeah, let's jump right into it, baby. What do you think? Ready?
Let's do it.
Bam, bam, bam.
I forgot to do this one.
Playoffs?
I was waiting for you to do it.
I just hope we can win a game.
Before we started recording, you did it like 3 times.
I know.
But yeah, let's get into it. We'll start. We always go.
Well, how'd you do in your leagues?
Oh, yeah, that's cool. We'll talk about that real quick. So I was in the playoffs in 4 leagues. I lost in 2 of them, but I won in the other 2. The ones that I won in, I'm more excited about anyways. So our marquee league that we're in is one that I really, really want to win, but we should, as long as everything goes right, it should be me and you in the championship.
Yeah, I'll see you in the ship.
See you in the ship, baby.
See you in the ship.
Noah's Ark. Everybody on.
Yeah.
2 people.
I went 2 for 3. I had a rough, I had a pretty solid lineup. I felt like, one that could contend. I wake up Saturday, Myles Gaskin's on COVID, so I lose my RB2. Gaskin's been solid the whole time. So I scramble. I try to find a replacement. Didn't work out. I wake up on Sunday. Brandon Cooks is out. Like 30 minutes before the game. I woke up at 30 minutes before the game, so I'm scrambling to find someone to throw in there. I ended up playing DJ Chark, which was a sit for me this week. That was like the best guy I feel like I could throw in there. And then another tough blow for me in that one was I had Mike Williams, who was one of my starts this week. He gets hurt after 2 snaps. So, yeah, I lost Myles Gaskin, Brandon Cooks, and Mike Williams all within like a 48-hour period. And that was in my big money league. So that one sucked.
Yeah.
To lose that one. But, yeah, like you said, the marquee league. Luckily, I had a bye. I know you're giving me some shit about it because I was, we and you were battling for that 1 seed. And I kept telling you I was going to get it, and you were getting so mad. But I really felt like I needed it over you. I really did.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get the 1 seed, I would have lost this week. So.
Yeah. You had a rough
I had a rough week.
That's
I had a lot of tough matchups in week 14.
Sometimes it can be the opposite where you have the bye week and your team just like goes off. And you're like, dude, damn it. Like, I could have been knocking somebody out. You know what I mean? I could have knocked out one of the better teams out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in your case, it worked out perfectly for you.
Yeah, so
which is nice. David Montgomery had a great week. There's a lot.
Finally seen Lamar Jackson get to that MVP form.
Yeah,
he was one of those buy targets
himself.
For.
He shit his pants.
He shit himself.
Well, the thing is if he had cramps, that doesn't make sense why he would like run off the field.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If you have cramps, it doesn't mean you go like out of the state. Like that doesn't make sense. So it has to be.
Yeah, I mean we've all done the doo-doo run, and where you're holding it, you feeling it coming, and you're just like, bro, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And as soon as you get there, you're just like, you're like, man, I almost lifted off.
Dude,
1 second before I sat on this toilet. But yeah, like you said, if he was cramping, but you wouldn't be running.
Why would you run?
You cramp up again, right?
Yeah. Why would you run? And then why would you run like out of the field? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking he's probably like taking a shit and just like listening, like, oh, please don't throw an interception, don't fall. Like, and he just like
McSorley's down. If only Lamar Jackson can come back somehow. Oh my God, it's Lamar Jackson out of the tunnel coming.
Yeah, dude. And then the towel was like right between his cheeks, like he put the towel like if he had like some type of doo-doo stain, the towel was covering it. You know what I mean?
Bro, it was like something that's scripted out of a movie.
Yeah.
On 4th and 5, they're down. He comes out and he throws a touchdown pass.
It kind of reminded me of remember when I got that when we worked together and they would give like these monthly awards to people.
Yeah.
Remember I was like, I'm not gonna win it. And I'm like, I'm just going to sneak off, go to the bathroom. And I'm like taking a shit. And I hear like over the speaker, they're like, and this guy has been doing really well at work. And they're like, Michael Marcanio. They're like, where is he? And they're like, he's in the bathroom. I came running out I literally like wiped my ass so fast and ran out.
Yeah. And you had the toilet paper stuck to your foot still?
No, I didn't have that happen. What the fuck? Why would you even say that?
Just kidding. Hey, kind of a funny story, though. This is embarrassing on my part, but I do like flag football leagues. I haven't been playing in a while, but in the past, I'd play a lot of flag football leagues. And I remember just going out one night, just getting hammered. And I had a game in the morning. And, when you're hammered, what sounds good at, 2 in the morning? Roberto's, right? So you just get some Roberto's, dude. I remember waking up playing this football game, and
Roberto's is not everywhere, by the way.
Okay, so it's like a taco shop.
Yeah, like in Arizona they call it Philiberto's, but it's all the same.
So yeah, like a Mexican taco shop type of place, But yeah, so we're playing a game, And this guy breaks off a long run, so I'm chasing him, and he's about to score, so I dive to get his flag, and I get his flag to stop him from scoring a touchdown on like a breakaway run. But as I hit the ground, my stomach hit the ground at this, flat, and it just gave out, and I just shit myself. And I remember getting up and running off the bathroom was so far away, and I had to run all the way to the bathroom.
Oh my God!
And people were like, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I was like, "I'll be back. I'll be back." And so you're one of those shitty bathrooms at the park. They have like no toilet paper, no nothing.
Probably like no stall.
Bro, nothing. So I had to use my
That's gnarly.
I had to use my underwear to wipe my ass, and then
you just leave your
underwear.
underwear.
I threw it in the trash, and then had to go back out there and get it done. We got the dub though, so
the Ravens got the touchdown, dude. The Ravens got the dub. You guys got the dub.
I had to shit myself to stop a touchdown,
maybe
dude. But I'm a team player, dude.
Maybe that's how you win. Is if you shit yourself, you're automatically. It's like God is like, yo, this guy, he took one for the team. He pooped himself. Let's give him the dub.
Yeah, I'm talking about, dude.
The testosterone high today.
The testosterone is high today. But enough story time, I guess. We can go on. Oh, really quick. Right before all that happened with Lamar Jackson, literally before the game started, I was with Kai, cause our Anthony's brother-in-law plays for the Niners, and I was like, "What happens if I literally asked it like right before the game? I said, "What happens if you have to shit like during the game?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "I guess it never really happens to me." And I literally asked him, and he's like, "What do you like in any sport? What do you do?" And I was like, I guess I played soccer. It never really happened." And then like 20 minutes later, they're all on Twitter. They're talking about how Lamar Jackson shit himself.
I do think they have like these pop-up.
Yeah, they had like those green tent things.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the blue medical tent. When someone gets hurt, they throw the tent over to so you can't see anything. I think they have like those for the bathroom. Like it's like a little tent. They just pop up. You do your business, and then they put the tent back down. You
know what we did when we played soccer? Sorry, last story. When we played soccer, what we would do is you'd take a knee like when we were warming up, and you would just, because your shorts are kind of shorter, you would just pull your dick out like right along your leg, and then you just pee like outside your shorts, just right on the field. We would do it all the time.
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
It's like, but like, you just pull your shorts up a little bit. It doesn't matter what size you are. You got a hose in there. You know what I mean? You just pee right out of your shorts. Like you're stretching, like almost like you take a knee.
Yeah.
Like you're like this kind of, I don't know. it's so if you play soccer, that's a good strategy.
Tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade.
Tricks
baby.
of the trade. Let's get to some of the tricks of our trade.
The waiver wire.
On the waiver wire.
Pass the wire. Pass the wire.
All right, let's get into padding the wire. That was a long intro, but we're here. So we always start with quarterbacks, then we go running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defenses. I just have every touchdown playing for the highlights on YouTube. If you're an audio listener, that's what I'm talking about right now. But yeah, let's go into the quarterbacks. First, we got Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. It's kind of crazy that this guy is become the starter now.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he came out, we said if you wanted to grab him, maybe it was a speculative ad, but I mean, in all honesty, we were saying too, if you're one of the 6 to 8 teams in your playoffs, you probably had a better quarterback option. So you're not really going out there to start Jalen Hurts, especially in a tough matchup against the New Orleans Saints, who had been, that defense was
Hansel. So hot right now.
The defense was hot like Hansel. I mean, they've just been shutting everybody out. But I mean, Jalen Hurts came out and put up a monster game for fantasy. Well, I guess not a monster game, but a solid game for a rookie in his first NFL start against one of the better defenses in the NFL. It gets you 19 points. 167 passing yards, gets you a touchdown, but where he really thrived is 18 carries for 106 rushing yards. I mean, I think I said it back when they drafted him, and even a couple times, during the draft process. I do like Jalen Hurts a lot. He's a poor man's Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's a running back just like Lamar Jackson who plays quarterback, but who you can argue that he's a better and more efficient passer than what Lamar Jackson is or was. So, yeah, I do like Jalen Hurts, especially going forward. I think we might have seen the last of Carson Wentz, honestly. It's a tricky situation there with the cap and how much they owe him. And, if they can't cut him because they just have like $40 million in dead money or something stupid like that. So maybe they try to trade him. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts, I think he's the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. This week he plays against the Arizona Cardinals and then week 16 at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, how do you feel about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I like it too. It sucks seeing Carson Wentz, kind of almost like lose that position, but I think it could just be like one of these Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles thing. You know what I mean? But I think you're right though. Jalen Hurts has a lot of talent. But yeah, this week if you're really in need of a streaming quarterback, I mean, I'm in one of my leagues. I've been streaming quarterbacks. Like I played Kirk Cousins this past week, so this Jalen Hurts is definitely like a possibility of someone that I would possibly stream this week coming up. But yeah, so I'm not mad at it. It's a little sneaky play late in the fantasy football season. I mean, not mad at it at all.
Yeah, one thing I heard, I mean, don't quote me on this exactly, but I thought I heard something. They were saying like Carson Wentz has been sacked 10 times more than anyone else, or like he's been sacked a ton.
Yeah.
I think Carson Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL right now. Jalen Hurts got sacked 0 times against the Saints defense, which has been balling for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, yeah,
so I mean,
if you can run out of the pocket, like yeah.
So yeah, I mean I mean Jalen Hurts, I think he's good. I think if you're in a dynasty league and you have Jalen Hurts, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely.
I know we're going to be starting a dynasty draft next year. He's definitely going to be a guy who I'll be targeting to try to get, because I think going forward, I mean, like I said, he's poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Well, it's almost like you're saying, more accurate. It's almost more than that.
Yeah.
Almost like a rich man's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
possibly
could be.
That rushing upside is always great too. All right, let's move on to the next one here. We got Jared Goff. I'm surprised that Jared Goff is as available as he is. It didn't seem like he would be.
Yeah,
before pre-podcast.
Yeah, he's like 40% available, give or take. I mean, he's had a couple up and down games. He's been, bipolar, I guess you could say it. I mean, he's got, I feel like half of his games are either 20 or more points. I mean, and then the other half are just not very good at all. I mean, 15 points last week against the Patriots. They shellacked the Patriots. They were just running down their throats. Then he gets you 24 against the Cardinals. That's a good game. Then he gets you 3 against the 49ers. Then he gets you 23 against the Bucs, and then 10 against the Seahawks. So he's just been up and down, up and down, up and down. But one thing with him is the passing yardage is pretty much there majority of the time. I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 300 or more passing yard games. This week he's at home against the New York Jets. They've had extra time to prepare. I mean, the New York Jets are tanking for Trevor. I mean, I think they've pretty much gotten rid of all of their starting cornerbacks from the starting season to now. They have none of the same defensive or cornerbacks that they had to start the regular season.
We got their linebacker.
Yeah. They're in full tank for Trevor mode. I mean, it could be another scenario where you run on them and maybe doesn't have the high ceiling. But one thing I can say about the Jets, and I think you've probably brought this up a couple times too, is if there's one thing that the Jets are good at, I feel like it's their run defense that's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's okay. But, I mean, their passing defense is just terrible. So, yeah, if you need a streaming option this week, I'm in a league where I have a couple quarterbacks. I've just been streaming them. Last week I streamed Tribusky. We'll talk on him in a second. That worked out pretty good. But this week I think I'm going to go with Jared Goff as my streaming option to help me get into the championship.
Nice. I like it. I'm not a big fan of Jared Goff, but, in this type of situation, I'm not mad at it. By the way, Jets, though, you know who the Jets play week 17? I'm pretty sure week 17.
Who?
The Patriots.
Nice.
Bill Belichick. They're talking about conspiracy theories. They're saying Bill Belichick might if they lose this week, he might just keep starting Jeff Stidham, so that way they lose to the Jets, and then that way Trevor Lawrence doesn't go to the AFC East. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. As a Dolphins fan, I don't want to see Trevor Lawrence there
with the Jets,
with the Jets. But I mean, even then, at the end of the
like
day,
it
doesn't matter
Trevor
how
Lawrence
good
or
he is.
Justin Fields, yes, Trevor Lawrence is, I would say, better, but it's not like Justin Fields is this terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
it's not like it's just Trevor Lawrence only.
Yeah.
1 to 2.
Even if they get Trevor Lawrence, the Jets, at the end of the day, it still comes down to the organization. It comes down to the coaching.
Yeah.
It comes down to the players that you surround the quarterback with. And it just doesn't mean anything. Just kind of off the top of the head, I'm gonna brag on Tua right here. I know we lost a tight game against the Chiefs this week, but I saw a comparison, and they were saying because we were getting blown out, but just to see the Dolphins and Tua kind of battle back and make it competitive towards the end, to a point where the Chiefs needed to score at the very end, that field goal to kind of seal it. Just to see Tua kind of put up some points against the Chiefs with a cast of nobodies. Because, I mean, Devontae Parker was hurt. I mean, Gesicki was balling, but then he got hurt. And we just have nobody. We're down to like our fourth-string running back. To see him go out there and be as efficient as he was, Tua threw for like over 300 yards. I think he had 2 passing touchdowns, ran a touchdown. It's nice to see that. But then you get – someone just basically said, imagine if Tua had Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and Austin Eckler. Like, how good could Tua be?
Yeah.
You know, obviously Herbert's balling, but, I mean, he's surrounded by a ton of weapons. You know, and they were saying if Herbert had this cast that Tua had, would he still be doing what he's doing? Probably not.
Right.
So that's a totally side different thing. But like, the whole point I'm trying to make is it doesn't matter how good Trevor Lawrence is if you don't put weapons around him and the coaching isn't right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be successful.
There's rumors saying that I think it's true. Adam Gase is in on the fix for the Jets.
Could be. He could be telling them.
They're firing everyone. They're not afraid to fire coaches. They fired Greg Williams.
Yeah, I mean, he could have. Maybe he's just a good talker. Maybe he's a good manipulator. He's telling them, "Hey, like, just give me Trevor Lawrence, and this will work. And I promise, give me Trevor Lawrence, and we'll turn it around." So maybe the guys are like, "Okay."
He didn't like it was Jamal Adams was there.
Yeah, he
didn't really like him. They got into it. Didn't like Le'Veon Bell. Didn't like Greg Williams. All these guys are gone.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, that'd be crazy. The AFC East is Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and then the Patriots have who?
Yeah,
Cam Newton, old. Anyways, let's go on to the next one here. We got Mitch Trubisky did great against the Texans this past week. The first half was a lot better than the second half for the Bears. I love those Bears helmets, by the way. The ones that look like Michigan, whatever they have, like, I think this might be their color rush jersey or not. It's not their color rush jersey, but you know what I'm talking about. They have the Bears, like those lines in their helmets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think those are sick, but that's probably why they won. But Mitch Trubisky did great for fantasy owners. Hopefully you streamed him last week. That was your start or somebody's?
He was my start 2 weeks ago against the Lions, which
it's the same game almost.
Historically, would always throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns pretty much against them. He didn't put up a good game, but then I was telling you, I was like, hey, I'm going to dial him up again this week because I feel like the matchup was just good against Houston. I mean, you could run on Houston, so I feel like when you can run on a team, it really opens up the play action because if you're just gashing teams with the run, if you do play action, those linebackers are going to bite, and that usually just leaves the middle of the field open, making it easier for players like Trubisky to just make some easier completions. But yeah, he throws 267, gets you 3 tugs, puts up 25 fantasy points, so pretty solid. This week he's at the Minnesota Vikings. I think this will be a nice little competitive game here. I mean, if you can get away from Trubisky, I'm not saying he's a must start, but if you're in a pinch and there's just like nobody there, maybe you got lucky. Maybe you're like the 6th seed and you got lucky to advance and you literally have no quarterback. Maybe you take a shot on Trubisky there. It's not a terrible matchup.
Yeah, I like Mitch Trubisky there. It's nice. It's good. Very good. All right, let's go on to the next one here. We got Phillip Rivers for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, this is probably one of the last ones I would be picking up and streaming. But if you're in a pinch, I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, like we said, these aren't like must starts. We're not saying that go start these guys over your studs or your starters, But this is like, hey, if I'm in a pinch, you're streaming, and you're like, I need to weigh my options. Who's there? Goff's that got to match up Trubisky, and then Rivers. This was Dre's start last week. It doesn't have a crazy good game, but not a dud game. Gets you 18 points, so it's like okay. 244 and 2, but he's at home against the Houston Texans. Last time he played against the Houston Texans, he put up 19 fantasy points. Yeah, I like the Colts in this one. I think they just destroy the Houston Texans here. One thing you can do on the Texans is you can run on them, and we've seen Jonathan Taylor just emerge the last 2 weeks. So if you have Jonathan Taylor, he's going to help you win a fantasy championship, that's for sure, because he should have another monster.
Him and David Montgomery probably have some of the juiciest playoff schedules. Yeah. Phillip Rivers. Pick him up. I'm not mad.
Should be able to get you a safe floor. Maybe not a guy who's going to win you your league, but if you're like, hey, I just need a quarterback who's going to get me a safe floor.
He shouldn't lose it.
That's probably what Phillip Rivers will be this week.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the running backs here. We got first one, Cam Akers. You might have forgot because it was Thursday night, but Cam Akers has taken over the backfield. I think he had 29 attempts, or was that the week before prior? Either way, he's getting a boatload of touches for the Rams. If he's still available, I mean, this is like a must.
Number one.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, if he's available, you gotta have him, even in like a 10-man league. I think.
Yeah. What's that saying? Better late than never, but never late is better.
Yes.
I mean,
exactly.
That's pretty much what Cam Akers was. I mean, what we saw, what he could be coming into the season. I mean, it's why people were drafting him pretty. I feel like within the first 5-6 rounds.
One of our most viewed clips we made for the offseason.
Yeah, and you just see, I mean, man, they gave him, I think he had like, I can't remember the exact things, but they were saying he had like 50, 60 rushes on the season, and he got like 30 or something like that last game. It was just absurd, the amount of touches that they gave him. But, I mean, he looked good. I mean, the guy is definitely the best running back on the team, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see what he could do next year going forward if they get rid of Malcolm Brown or maybe they just phase him out completely. I mean, Darrell Henderson's okay, but, I mean, if there's any running back that's the best out of the three, it's definitely Cam Akers. He was 50% available in NFL. I think he was 40% available in ESPN. So, like I said, he's getting the Jets this week, and I'm expecting the Rams to just shellac the New York Jets. So, more scoring opportunities, more opportunities for Cam Akers to put up some points for you.
Yeah, put up some points. All right. Let's go. Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert. He got a knee.
Yeah, there's some reports that Mostert was going to get an MRI. I want to say it was the knee or the ankle. He had the high ankle sprain, which kept him out on IR for a couple weeks. So just monitor this. We'll tweet it out just to let you guys know what's going on. But if he is to miss by any chance, it's the last couple weeks, it's been Mostert to Jeff Wilson Jr. They've been, 50-50 down the split. But I think if Mostert misses, you're going to get full Jeff Wilson Jr., as Anthony would say.
Yeah.
I mean, this week they're playing against Dallas. Dallas, they got gashed by the Ravens a couple days ago. And, I know they beat up on the Bengals, but, I mean, it's the fucking Bengals. Yeah. So it's nothing to be proud about. So, yeah, I do like Jeff Wilson Jr. this week as an RB2 if Mostert was to miss.
Yeah.
I mean, McKinnon and Coleman have just been totally phased out of the offense. Michael Hasty's still a rookie. I think he was kind of only playing because he was one of the last guys standing.
When he was playing, it was like everybody was out.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, I mean, Jeff Wilson, he just has a nose for the end zone. Like, I feel like when he's in the game, he finds the end zone. It just
yeah, he lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's go. Next one here, we got Lynn, as your cousin would say, Lynn Bowden Jr.
Lynn Bowden. I was listening to something they were saying, is it Lynn Bowden or Lynn Bowden?
I don't know, but I know it's not Lynn Bowden.
Yeah, it's definitely not Lynn Bowden. But yeah, Lynn Bowden Jr., that's what I would say it as. I mean, he's kind of emerged the last couple games. I mean,
you got nobody left on the Dolphins. Gesicki went out.
Yeah.
I mean, no Parker last week is like, he's good though too.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a tougher matchup against the Patriots secondary. I mean, you got, the current defensive player of the year, Stephon Gilmore, Justin Jackson, I think his name, or J.C. Jackson, I think his name is, and then McCourty over there for the Patriots. So it's a good secondary. We don't know if Devontae Parker's going to play or not. He left last week with a slight hamstring injury is what they're calling it, so he's questionable. And then Gesicki, he had the monster game, hurts his shoulder. They're saying he most likely is going to miss. I mean, we have Jakeem Grant, who's a little scat guy. I mean, we're getting Isaiah Ford back, which we traded to the Patriots, but then they cut him, and then we just picked him back up off the waiver wire, so we got a free 7th-round pick for that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, outside of that, we really have nobody to throw the ball to. I mean, Lynn Bowden in the last 2 games, 4 for 41 and then 7 for 82, so he's nice in PPR leagues. And the thing with him is he's listed as a running back wide receiver, so you could play him as a running back if you need him. I'm in a scenario where I have Myles Gaskin in the league, and I guess the way the COVID-19 reports are playing out is you need to sit out a certain amount of games. So they were saying since he's, officially sat out Saturday, he might not be eligible to come back and play this week. So I'm thinking about picking up Lynn Bowden Jr. and throwing him in as my running back because now I'm getting a guy who, although he only has 2 carries in the last 2 weeks combined, but he's gotten me 11 catches in the last 2 weeks for 120 yards. I mean, and the guy's elusive. I think it was him and Malcolm Perry who were the number 1 and number 2. They're both on the Dolphins, ironically. Malcolm Perry played quarterback. He'd run a lot of the RPOs. So, Lynn Bowden played quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He won the award for most
diverse.
Yeah, he won the award for most versatile college football player last year. So it just shows you like the football player. When we were breaking him down, we're saying the guy's a football player. But yeah, it is fun to see the guy get the ball in his hands because he does have the ability to make people miss and get those yards after the catch. So yeah, I do like Lynn Bowden Jr. this week. If you're in a pinch, you need some guy. Like I said, I need a second running back spot if Gaskins misses, and if I can throw Lynn Bowden in there, especially in a PPR league, and get me a safe floor of like 10. If he finds the end zone, it's even better. Yeah, I like Lynn Bowden Jr. This week, and then going forward next year, I'm excited to see what he could do.
Yeah.
I think he'll end up being our primary slot guy.
Yeah, like you're saying, he's versatile. It's like you need those kind of guys on your team. But yeah. All right, let's move on to Gus Edwards. Came out of nowhere. You said Mark Ingram had 1 snap last week?
Yeah, I believe it was 1 snap that Mark Ingram had, and that was it. It was the J.K. Dobbins show, actually. He had by far the most amount of snaps out of anybody. But, I mean, Gus Edwards, he gets in. He gets you 7 carries, only 49 yards, but 2 touchdowns. He's still, to me, like the goal line back or, still gets incorporated. So, I mean, I guess, it's kind of a high risk, high reward if you're in a pinch. I mean, like I said, I'm not going out and throwing him into my lineup over some of these other running backs, but let's just say if you're struggling for a second running back and you're just like, man, I just need someone who can maybe get me 10 points, someone that has a high probability of scoring a rushing touchdown. I think Gus Edwards is one of those players.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely like last on the list, maybe like an ad if you're really, really in a pinch, I think.
Yeah, I mean, since their Week 7 bye, he's got 5 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, they're definitely –
He's getting used. He's getting used in those.
And by the goal line is what he's being used at.
Which is what you want to see.
Yeah.
Especially standard leagues.
For a team that's one of the most run-heaviest teams in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to wide receivers. We got T.Y. Hilton. I mean, just rattle off those finishes the last couple of weeks. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, T.Y., he's, 35, 40% available. It just depends on what league you're in. He was the guy we talked on last week. We said go pick him up, and if you did, hopefully you started him. It's just crazy because we're in a league, and your opponent picked up T.Y. Hilton this week, and I saw that he did.
Him.
And he benched him. And I was like, what are you doing, bro?
I still would have beat him, but it would have been like 1 point.
Yeah,
instead of like,
but it's like, hey, why would you go get a guy like that just to bench him?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you were just trying to block. But it's like, we were looking at his lineup, and he didn't have anyone. You're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have played him. I would have played him over a couple of the guys he decided to throw in his lineup. But I mean, yeah, but he pretty much shit the bed the whole season. The first 11 weeks, he only had 1 game over 10 PPR points. But these last 3 weeks, 18, 25, and 25 PPR points. I mean, if you grab T.Y. Hilton and you've been playing the last couple weeks, you are just stoked. I mean, he's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. He's got 80 or more receiving yards in 3 straight games. When he gets to play against the Houston Texans again, last time he played against Houston Texans 2 weeks ago, 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it, but there's, like I said before, there's certain teams or players that they just ball against that team. And I remember seeing a stat where it was like T.Y. Hilton just balls against the Texans. For whatever reason, he just goes out and he just has the Texans numbers. So, yeah, if I had T.Y. Hilton this week, I'm dialing him up. I'm not even hesitating it. I'm just going to follow the trend of, I mean, the guy's just been putting up monster numbers. I don't know how you can get away from him.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This is definitely like my number one. If he's available in a league, I gotta have him on my team, whether it be half point, full point PPR. Just like you said, even if you're blocking, it's still a good move. All right, let's go. Keke Coutee, because your boy Brandon Cooks decided to go MIA.
Yeah, the Brandon Cooks one killed me. Like I said, I lost him. I woke up at like 9:30 over here West Coast. The game started at 10. I woke up at like 9:30, and all of a sudden it's like I see he's out, and I was like, what? You didn't hear anything about him.
Yeah, that's what happened to me with Will Fuller.
Yeah,
Actually,
Will Fuller played the game.
Yeah, but he did.
Will Fuller pulled a Mike Williams and a Devontae Parker this last week. They played the game, they got hurt, and then they didn't play. He just didn't play. It's like, they're like, he's not playing. So you already knew right away he wasn't going to come in and play. But they didn't say it until the inactives come out, I think 90 minutes before the game. So technically 90 minutes before the game came out.
I didn't know until during the game he wasn't playing. He wasn't on the field.
Who, Brandon Cooks?
No, Will Fuller.
I mean, Will Fuller played the game. He just exited the game. There's a difference between exiting the game with an injury and then just not stepping field.
No, he was before the game was fucked up with an injury, and then he didn't play throughout the game.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, that week. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look it up right now.
They said before the game he was stretching and like holding part of his like groin or his hamstring.
What week was that? Do you know?
I don't know. It was like week 5. It was the week that he got like 0 points. Whenever I played you. We doing this right now?
Yeah, dude. Because I want to see.
Wait.
Maybe I'm wrong.
They said he had an injury, and it wasn't like he got injured in the game. He literally it was week 2.
All right, I'm gonna prove you wrong right now.
It's week 2.
Just because.
Look it up.
I'm better than you.
Look it up.
And you're not
Look
about
it up.
to win this one, Mike. Just like you're not gonna win the championship either. So let's see. All right, week 2, he played against Baltimore. He got 0 points week 2. Will Fuller was balling. Unfortunate that he had to leave for the PED suspension.
Yeah.
Especially good for him to ball on a contract year because I think he earned himself a lot of money in this offseason. But week 2, he puts up a 0. He played 63% of the snaps. So Mama's wrong again.
No, yeah, but
Mama's wrong again.
I don't believe it.
The point I was trying to make is that Will Fuller played that game. He might have got a 0, and he might have left because of an injury. Brandon Cooks didn't even play, and you didn't find out.
He was on 63% of the snaps, but he left the game with a hamstring injury in the second quarter.
It says 63% of the snaps he played. So the point I was trying to make is that Brandon Cooks left, so you're scrambling. Anyways, Mike's over here. He's still salty because I beat him, and I'm going to beat him again.
No, you got it in the regular season. I'll get it in the postseason.
Now you just sound silly, dude. We're going to lose
followers. All right, pick up Keke Coutee, though. There's nobody – I mean, he's kind of like the last one left there.
I mean, yeah, Keke Coutee gets you 8 for 141 against the Colts 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, if they're going to kind of run that same game script, I mean, this should be a passing game script for Deshaun Watson and the Texans. I'm expecting them to be trailing majority, if not all, the games. So they're going to be chasing against the Colts. Last week against the Bears, 3 for 24, but he finds the end zone, so not that bad. And then even, he's had nine or more PPR points in 3 of his last 4 games. So if Brandon Cooks was to miss, it's a neck injury, then yeah, I think you'd be seeing Keke Coutee be a guy that, de facto, he's kind of like the last man standing there for this Texans offense right there. Kind of like in case of emergency, break the glass. That's what Keke Coutee would be. And you're wrong.
Listen, if he was on 63% of snaps, he had 0 targets.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Now you're calling me stupid. Wow. All right. Let's talk about Tim Patrick.
Fantasy ruins friendships.
Bro, Tim Patrick's gay. Pick up Tim Patrick.
All right, Tim Patrick, yeah, he was another guy we talked on. We talked on last week. We said, "Hey, pick him up. He's been balling."
He's got a pretty interesting.
He plays a majority of the snaps out there. He's basically that Cortland Sutton role for this Denver Broncos offense. Obviously, you got KJ Hamler, who's kind of a speedy gadget guy. I know KJ Hamler had the big game, the 2 touchdowns, but I'm not going to bank on a guy like KJ Hamler to come out here and score 2 touchdowns on 3 or 4 receptions or whatever it was. Again, but yeah, Tim Patrick. It is a tougher matchup. They play against the Buffalo Bills. So he might see a shadow from Tre'Davious White. That'll dictate whether or not I feel confident playing him. If Tre'Davious White's going to shadow him, then I want nothing to do with Tim Patrick. Tre'Davious White is one of the best corners in the NFL. But, I mean, the last 6 weeks, minus the Week 12 game against the Saints where they had the quarterback playing, where they had the wide receiver playing quarterback, he got you a 0 there. But 5 of the last 6 weeks, 10 or more PPR points. So yeah, he's just a guy. I feel like when they get close into red zone, they look for him. I would say he's the wide receiver 1 on this team.
Yeah.
Noah Fant's banged up again. You don't know if he's gonna play. I think he's got the ankle injury again. So yeah, not a bad pickup right here, Tim Patrick.
But do you want to play a guy who does a touchdown dance like this? I mean, what is this? What is that?
See, here's the key. The key word you said right there was touchdown dance. So if my
Yeah,
guy's
so
scoring touchdowns, yeah, throw him in my lineup, baby.
I don't know. I think he jinxed it by doing that.
Throw him in my lineup, baby. Touchdown dance gives me touchdown. Ooh, I like it.
Puts you in a touchdown trance. This one I threw in here because he just seems like, for a while we talked a lot about how this guy can't catch the ball. We're talking about Marquez, Valdes, Scantling. But he looks a lot better as of recently. It's almost like when Allen Lazard went out, it's almost like MVS kind of stepped it up and took charge and took over that role. Not took over that role, but filled in while it was basically just Adams and him there. So this is kind of like maybe speculative ad. I don't know how I feel about starting him going into the playoffs, but if you got a very weird waiver wire or free agency board, I think it's not a bad move putting him on your team.
I mean, yeah, he's like the home run play. If you're shooting for a guy and get you, I mean, he's got 4 games of 19 or more points, and then he's got 9 games of under 10 PPR points, and then 4 games of 19 or more points. So it's literally 2 different sides of the spectrum. He's either going to have a monster game or he's going to get you nothing. I mean, prior to this 20-point game here, he got you negative 0.4 and 0 points. 0 receptions the last 2 weeks prior to having 6 for 85 and a touchdown last week. If I'm in the semifinals, I like to believe that your team was pretty good and you got some pretty good options there, that you're not banking on a guy like MVS to help you win to get to the championship. What I would do maybe is grab MVS and throw him on my bench, because if he does come out and have a 20-point game, I'd rather have him have 20 points on my bench instead of 20 points in my opponent's lineup.
Yeah, if your opponent has 20 points against you, that means that your team might lose.
Got a good brain.
I talk like that on purpose. I'm playing a part, okay? Tight ends. One of the most crucial parts of the fantasy football world. If you could get a good tight end, you got a good team. All right, this is a first one, Logan Thomas. This guy's, we're talking about someone who's somewhat versatile. He did throw a touchdown a couple weeks ago. It's pretty sweet. But he's just getting more and more involved. It seems like it's Terry McLaurin. What's his name? Steven Sims. Cam Sims came out of nowhere, but Logan Thomas is kind of one of their go-to guys besides Terry. I feel like he's like almost second.
Yeah, I mean, Terry McLaurin's been a couple dud games for Terry McLaurin. I think he got like 2 for 24 this last week. It's just he's kind of been, 2 for 24 and then 2 for 14 the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, those are his 2 worst games of the season in back-to-back weeks. Terry McLaurin plays against the Seattle Seahawks this week. I know it's a good matchup on paper, but actually the Seahawks have been pretty good against defending against a wide receiver the last couple weeks. They've totally done a 180 compared to those first 4 or 5 weeks where they were just giving it up like Blair. So, yeah, maybe another tough matchup here for Terry McLaurin, who's been kind of slumping the last 2 games. But, yeah, Logan Thomas, I mean, in terms of tight ends, if you need a tight end, I was struggling in the league. I need a tight end. I lost George Kittle. I've been trying to play the matchups. Jordan Reed and Hayden Hurst has been too inconsistent. I needed somebody. I grabbed him. I mean, 10 or more PPR points in 4 of his last 5 games. I mean, it's a decent matchup against the Seahawks. I feel like when they get in close, he's kind of their red zone guy. Because, I mean, the guy's a big boy. But, I mean, this is more based. I'd feel more confident if Alex Smith was the quarterback compared to Dwayne Haskins. I mean, Alex Smith, he left the game with a calf injury, I think it is. So, yeah, we'll just monitor this. We'll see if Alex Smith can come back and play. I would feel 100 times more confident with Alex Smith as the quarterback compared to Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins has to be one of like the worst. He's such a bust.
Yeah, sometimes you get these quarterbacks, I feel like they're they get drafted in the first round because quarterback is such like you need a quarterback. And if you can get a good quarterback, you're going to draft him in the first round.
It's almost like running backs in fantasy drafts.
Yeah, I was talking. It's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay, dude.
No, I was like, dude,
I'm just mid-sentence. Go ahead.
I know. I was saying it's
yeah, no,
like,
go ahead, floor.
I'm saying fantasy. I'm saying it's like fantasy running backs in the draft. That's all. It's like the same way you're talking about.
No, it's not the same way I was talking about.
What
I was going to say is that it's so hard to find quarterbacks that you draft a quarterback in the first round. But a lot of times these first-round quarterbacks don't have to be like this franchise quarterback. Sometimes they're just career backup quarterbacks. Sometimes they're just like, I was drafted in the first round, and you're good enough to be a backup quarterback. You're still, a top 50 quarterback in the world when you think about it.
Yeah.
You're still one of the 50th, 60 best players at your position, but you're just not one of the top 30 players at your position.
I feel like.
But you get drafted in the first round, but now you're just a lifetime backup quarterback.
I feel like Dwayne Haskins, like maybe like top 200.
Probably.
Anyways, let's go on to the next one. Irv Smith Jr. Dude, you sounded like me. You're a little angry off right there, bro.
Dude. Yeah, you got Irv Smith here. He gets 4 for 64 in a tug. Puts up a nice little 16 points for you last week against the Bucks. Probably didn't get started in a lot of leagues. But, this week, Kyle Rudolph might miss. If Kyle Rudolph misses, then I do like Irv Smith because he's the only tight end there. We've seen Kirk Cousins. He's been playing a lot better. Kirk Cousins has been playing really good lately, too, playing some good football. So, yeah, if Kyle Rudolph is out, I like Irv Smith this week.
Yeah, like you said, but like we always say, is the tight ends. It's hard to get somebody.
Yeah, kind of like the running backs. Yeah, like the running back.
No, I'm saying in fantasy,
like
in fantasy draft. This is what I was saying is like the way that the quarterback position, the importance of it in regular football. I give you fucking audio drop privileges and you just use it against me. Listen, but what I'm saying is that fantasy drafts, like everybody grabs a running back, and sometimes you feel like you have to in the first round, and sometimes you reach on running backs. It's the same kind of way in regular draft.
For sure.
You get what I'm saying? It makes some sense, dude. Don't act like that's like
no, for sure. Yeah, you value the quarterback position a little bit higher because you're like, hey, we got to get this guy,
Yeah, you're like everybody's looking for their franchise quarterback or franchise running back.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. All right, this one's a little speculative ad. Dan Arnold, he was actually my sit this week. He ended up scoring against the Giants. It's weird how he's getting more and more involved with. There's so many receiving options. I feel like on this team, you didn't think like the tight end would ever get involved the way he is, but he has been lately. Past like 4 weeks. He's been putting up decent numbers.
He's touchdown dependent to me. He's only pretty much every game he gets you 1 to 2 catches. And then if he doesn't find the end zone, he's not going to put up a good stat line for you. He finds the end zone, 2 for 27 though. So if he doesn't, then that's not a very good game.
But you can make the same argument. He's like the same as Jonnu Smith has been. Jonnu Smith is like if he finds the end zone, he gives you a good game. If he doesn't,
I guess that is kind of what Jonnu Smith's been, huh? He hasn't really been incorporated too much, huh?
Yeah. It's not like he's kind of like a red zone guy. But yeah, not if you're really hurting, possibly.
For a squirt.
Not super excited about it, but it's possible. All right, last one here. We're going to go over some defenses we like to stream in week 15. This is don't be dropping, these good defenses for these ones we're talking about here. This is if you're streaming, like, go ahead and pick these guys up. It's not, don't drop Steelers defense for one of these. All right, we got the Browns first. Should have a decent week 15. This is one I like a little bit more out of all of them. Browns actually have a pretty decent schedule. So they play the Giants this week. I think they play the Jets the next week. 2 New York teams back-to-back, same stadium, I feel like. So, yeah, Giants as good as they're getting better. They're still the Giants. Very able to make some errors, throw some picks.
I mean, yeah,
Browns defense is
Danny
decent.
Dimes doesn't know how to hold onto the football. He's still fumbling.
I mean, he has the most like turnovers of anybody like of all time. I feel like.
Yeah, and that's not very good when you have a guy named Myles Garrett who's trying to kill you every time you
He's a
hike the
country
ball.
boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man. But yeah, so Browns defense decent stream week 15. This one I like to. This one you said is kind of a homer pick, but the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots. I would say you guys have one of like the sneakiest home field advantages. I think just the way your stadium's set up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you get the sun or the way it's set up. The kind of have some shade on the Dolphins like sideline, and then all the heat gets beamed directly on the opposing side. So yeah, it's hot, it's humid.
So
if you're not used to it,
yeah, you got the Patriots coming from up north.
yeah.
And
We even when they had Tom Brady, and I think we can all agree that the Patriots are no longer the New England Patriots of the past, and it feels good because, I would always say it, and I said it for so many years because Tom Brady was in the league for 20 years. I feel like with the Patriots, every team has their downfall. You know, it doesn't last forever. There's always a team where they're on top and then they have their downfall. I mean, in basketball, the Bulls were dominant in the 90s. Since Michael Jordan left, and that the Bulls are just not the same. They are no longer the Chicago Bulls, and they haven't been the Chicago Bulls in for forever. You know, and then you get like the Warriors last year. You know, the Warriors dominant. A couple of injuries, obviously different. I'm talking about that. But then even in the Cowboys, 90s again, Cowboys, they were the team of the 90s, I guess you could say. Just haven't really been the same since then. So there's always the downfall of a franchise after so many successful seasons. So I think we've finally seen it. So I like to see that. But yeah, Miami at home, they got dropped in a lot of leagues, I think, because they were playing the Chiefs. So, I mean, they still got 4 turnovers and like 3 or 4 sacks. So if they didn't give up 33 points, I mean, it was Mahomes and the Chiefs. So it's expected. But, I mean, it was pretty crazy to see Mahomes enter the game with 2 interceptions on the year. So I think he went, 11, 12 games with only 2 interceptions, and he threw 3 against the Dolphins. So it just shows you how good this Dolphins defense really is, and how they've gotten over just one year. But yeah, I do like them this week against the New England Patriots. I mean, Cam Newton can't throw for 100 yards on a good day. Now you're telling me he's playing against one of the best secondaries in Xavier Howard, who leads the NFL in interceptions. I don't like it. As long as the Dolphins can just limit Cam's rushing and kind of stop Damian Harris, I think the Dolphins win this game easily, even with their lack of options.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably bet the under in this game. Probably not a lot of points going to be scored in this game.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, even the Chiefs, like, I guess it was, 33-27?
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of points.
60
It felt
points.
like it was less points than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dolphins, great. You guys, I love it. Then we got the Buccaneers going up against Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is just, I don't know. He's just not good, I feel like. Could this be one of those weeks where Matt Ryan goes off against a pretty decent defense?
I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan, he was my sit last week. I said, when he doesn't have Julio Jones, he's just a different quarterback. I mean, he only got you 7 points if you started him. Hopefully you didn't. But, I mean, this week they're at home against the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs defense, one of the best rushing defenses, if not the best rushing defense in the NFL. So, I mean, Gurley's already been non-existent with the knee. Ito Smith, Brian Hill, those guys. So I'm not banking on them to be able to run the ball at all against the Buccaneers, meaning they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Obviously, they have the weapons to do that. But, I mean, if Julio Jones doesn't play, then, yeah, I think that Matt Ryan is in store for a long day. A couple picks, maybe you get a pick 6, some sacks. So, yeah, I do like the Buccaneers defense as a sneaky streaming option this week against Matt Ryan, especially if Julio Jones is out.
Yeah. Put in the Buccaneers.
I like it.
Put in the Buccaneers. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got for this episode. Season 3, episode 81.
I just hope we can win a game.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you got some advice on this.
Semifinals if you're in a 16 team. Do you like that? Just kind of side topic. Would you rather the season end on week 16, or would you rather do a 2-week playoff? Week 14, 15 is the first round, and then week 16, 17 is it's like a 2-week matchup.
No, I hate that. I like the other way.
Because I feel like if you say you got the Bills or Steelers, and they lock in a position, they'll sit players. The Chiefs. Let's say the Chiefs lock in a first round bye, or they get the 1 seed. Then you're week 17, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, like those guys might sit, and then it's like now you're playing for your fantasy championship in week 17, and you're out.
Yeah,
you're arguably your best player.
That's why I hate it. Is because week 17 it's sketchy.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like it when it's
because I've done it like that before. I don't like it. Yeah. And so if you do your fantasy playoffs like that, go ahead and tell your commissioner. I was about to say tell your boss. Tell your commissioner to change it because it sucks.
Or I guess if you're gonna do a 2-week playoff matchup, maybe you just start a week early. Maybe you start week 12. You do week 12. Right, week 12, no, week 13. So you do 13, 14 1 week, and then week 15, 16 another week.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Do it like that. But yeah, thanks for listening. Subscribe, leave us a review, do all that stuff. Go check out Thrive Fantasy. They'll match you, like I said earlier in the promo video, 20 to up to 20 or minimum $20 to $50. They'll match you. You get an extra whatever you put into it. So if you put in $50, you get another $50 in the app. It's pretty sweet. They have a bunch of different tournament styles. So go check that out. Links in the description. That's all we wrote, baby. And us big boys are out.